tradition. Feels so hard. Summer rhythms blend with the fry. Go, 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 oh, shout it aloud. In the summer sun, we're a summer loving crowd. Talking Brazil ball.
Hello there, and welcome to Talking Brazil Ball. It's a it's a podcast talking all Brazilian football, everything Serie A, Brasileirão. It's all here. We're going to talk about it's another episode. Welcome along. Remo get a big first win of the season, and Palmieras hit the top once again. All that and much, much more to follow in this episode. So tune in and enjoy. Yes, enough of that then. And yes, as I said, is welcome along to Talking Brazil Ball. It's a Brazilian podcast, a Brazilian football podcast, English language speaking, of course, one of the only ones around. So yeah, let's get going. There's plenty to get on with. There's been managerial changes afoot again in the Brasileirão since we last spoke a week ago. There's been 2 match weeks, so we are going to focus on match day 8, round 8 this week, but we've got match day 7 results to wrap up first. There's news galore going on, so we'll try and get to everything we can do. We've got the match of the week. We've got the awards to give out. So without further ado, let's roll up with, first off, match day 7 and give you those results. So match day 7 started on the last day we did a pod, actually last Wednesday, the 18th of March, with Bahia 2, RB Bragantino 0, Palmeiras 2, Fogo 1, Atletico PR 2, Cruzeiro 1, Galo 1, Sao Paulo 0, fantastic result for my boys, and Mirassol 0, Curitiba 1. Into Thursday the 19th of March, then Santos 1, Inter 2, Vasco 3, Fluminense 2, Grêmio 2, Vitória 0, Flamengo 3, Remo 0, and that match day in particular finished on Friday, the 20th of March, the early hours of that day in the UK, with Chapecoense 0, Corinthians 0. Into match day 8 then, which started on Saturday, the 21st of March, with RB Bragantino 1, Fogo 2, Fluminense 1, Galo 0. Sunday the 22nd of March, Sao Paulo 0, Palmeiras 1, Atletico PR 2, Curitiba 0, Cruzeiro 0, Santos 0, Remo 4, Bahia 1, Vasco 2, Grêmio 1, Internacional 2, Chapecoense 0, Vitória 1, Mirassol 0, and Corinthians 1, Flamengo 1. So that was all of the results. You caught up to date with every single result that's gone on since we last spoke. So a couple of important wins for Inter. James is feeling a lot better about things, nowadays with Inter. 2 on the bounce. Mirassol, 2 defeats on the bounce as well. And like I said, a big, big win for Remo, which we will speak about in a little bit more detail a little bit later on. But let's, first and foremost, get to my game of the week, which was the Sao Paulo derby between Sao Paulo themselves and Palmeiras, of course, who hit the top, like I said in the little intro there. They are now top of the league, leapfrogging Sao Paulo. They're 3 points ahead on 19 points. Sao Paulo 3 points further back in second on 16 points. And this particular game was settled by a very, very early goal from John Arias, who is back in Brazilian football, of course, having a short stint in the Premier League with bottom of the table Wolverhampton Wanderers, soon to be relegated, surely, Wolverhampton Wanderers. It was a really short stint in England for John Arias, and he's quickly back in Brazilian football and back amongst the goals. He played 23 games in the Premier League. He did score a goal in the Premier League, but then he found himself back in Brazil come February. So he's only played a handful of games so far for Palmeiras. He scored twice, in fact, already in the Brasileirão. So he's back amongst the goals in Brazil, and got the deciding goal in this one after only 6 minutes on the clock. It was a lovely run right from his own half. Nearly got goal of the round. It didn't quite get that, but it nearly did. It was very close. It was a very slim pickings this week, but we'll get on to the goal of the round a bit later on in the episode. But John Arias, ran right from his own half. Been a little of a jink in and out on the edge of the penalty box, and wrong-footed the goalkeeper Rafael with a smart finish into the bottom corner, like I said, which ultimately settled the game in Palmeiras' favour. And like I said, now they're 2 on the bounce as well in the league. They're actually 3 on the bounce wins in the league, not being defeated since Vasco beat them midway through March as well. They played a lot of games in a very short space of time here, have Palmeiras. So it's their March games have actually finished. Let's wait and see if Abel Ferreira wins Manager of the Month. I don't think he will. Just put it out there early on. Let's wait and see, though. But the game was settled very quickly. Of course, we have a managerial discussion, a managerial appointment to catch up on in terms of Sao Paulo. Now, this came as a real shock to me when James actually told me about this. I hadn't seen this, and I must apologize to anybody listening to last week's episode because I didn't even see this at the time. But Hernan Crespo was relieved of his position as Sao Paulo boss. Before this game, I think before the last game as well, they actually played. He's no longer the manager of Sao Paulo. The actual manager now is Mr. Roger Mercado, Super Mercado, one of our favourites on the pod. He's played 2. He's actually lost 2. His first game was against my team, Galo, last week. He lost that 1-0. He lost this one 1-0 as well. Obviously, it comes with high stock, formerly of Juventude, of course, but more formally recently of Internacional. Did pretty well with Inter. And he's really relatively short spell in there, about 9 months, wasn't it? He was there. Well, he wasn't there that long. He was there just over a year, beg my pardon. Still wasn't too long, really. And now he finds himself back in management with Sao Paulo. Obviously, vastly experienced man, mainly a Gremio man, wasn't he? But he, having played a long career there before moving on to Fluminense latterly. But he's managed both of those teams obviously as well. But very, very vastly experienced. And like I said, recently with Inter, he did a good job. He's back in the managerial seat. But it was a real shock to me when I heard the news that Hernan Crespo had been relieved of his duties. A real shame. I thought he was doing a good job, but something must have gone on behind the scenes there, and they sitting in second position. This particular game, Palmeiras had the less of the possession, but it wasn't a surprise because they did have a man sent off, pretty late in the game, actually. Late in the day. I think, no, they didn't. I think it was Mr. Abel Ferreira himself who got his marching orders on the touchline. So they ended the game with 11 against 11. It was Abel Ferreira who was sent off in the end, towards the end of the game. So I'm sure he will not be in the dugout for Palmeiras' next game, which is a home game at the Allianz Parque against Grêmio. He won't be in the dugout for that. But they roll on, Palmeiras. They roll on. They're just getting into form now with Flamengo seemingly having to play catch up, and really had a string of good wins, but then drew with Corinthians. So they're just not really hitting that much form under new man Leonardo Jardim, of course. Palmeiras and Abel Ferreira look to be taking charge and doing what they need to do. 3 wins in a row now, so they're doing all right. That's as well. That's 4 wins from 5 league games as well. So they're doing okay, and they're rolling on. But anyway, we put that one to bed. A good win for Palmeiras. The Palm Trees, a Sao Paulo derby, with nothing like a derby win to set you on the way even further, is there? Let's wait and see how they go on. Let's also wait and see how Mr. Supermercado gets on with Sao Paulo. But on to the first of the awards, and we might as well look at the PR against Curitiba game, because there is 2 awards coming in this game. We will first and foremost look then at the young player of the round award, which we'll wrap up after this.
A bright future ahead for this guy, a young talent of Brazil. How far can he go? It's the young player of the round award.
So the young player of the round award, and like I said, it was in the Atletico Paranense game. They beat fellow newly promoted side Curitiba 2-0, and it was the man Dudu Kogitsky who scored the first of those 2 goals, and he wins our young player of the round award at only 20 years of age. He's a product of the PR Academy. Having broke through in their relegation season in 2023, he made his debut in April of 2023, and then he played the whole. Sorry, that wasn't the relegation season, was it? But he played the whole of the season last season in Serie B, notching up 19 appearances in the league, with a further 4 in the league in the cup, which made 23 overall. He scored 4 goals, all coming in Serie B, always at the age of 19. His birthday is on the New Year's Day, actually, of 2006. He was born, so he's just not long since turned 20. First goal in the top division. He was very, very excited about it. The man wearing the number 53 set PR on the way. A little bit of a scrappy goal, but he still had to finish it off, and he will be absolutely delighted. Like I said, coming through their academy. He's played under the youth football at Brazil, for his country, Brazil. So he's notching up nearly 50 appearances for PR already, 38, 5 goals. It's pretty good. So we'll have to wait and see how his career develops, but very impressive from his point of view. Wears the number 53 shirt. First goal in 6 games so far this season. So he's played nearly all of the games so far. I think PR haven't played as many. They've only played 7, so he's only missed 1. They do play this weekend. I think it's against Corinthians, so we'll wait and see. But Duda looks like a decent player there in the centre of midfield. Sorry, he's a number 10, isn't he, primarily? He can play in the centre of midfield as well. So Duda Kogitsky wins our young player of the round award. Also in this game was this. Sorry, this. Brazilian football at its best. Of course, it wasn't Brazilian football at its best this time round. Like I said, very slim pickings for the goal of the round this week, to be quite fair. But I went for this one. It was the second goal in PR's victory over Curitiba. Kevin Viveiros, who has scored 3 goals so far this season. I think he scored the opening goal of the whole season for PR so far. Their win against Inter, wasn't it, on the opening day? He scored the first goal. It was the first game of the new Brazilian season. Viveiros, a Colombian man, he has not got any international caps for Colombia. That might change in the coming time. Let's see if he gets in the World Cup squad. I think they are in the World Cup, aren't they? Colombia. But Viveiros, this looked right off the training ground. It was a free kick which was floated in, and then it was then put in by there was a header across the goal by Gaston Benavides, and then Kevin Viveiros lashed it in with a lovely timed volley. It was great. It was a great volley in, and I thought, right, that's great. I looked at John Arias's and I thought maybe he gets it, but I think I just like this, like a training ground move. Like I said, the free kick was floated in. Benavides gets his head on the ball, nods it across to Viveiros, who absolutely slams the ball in, and puts the seal on a 2-0 win, which obviously was just 11 minutes in the second half. Really got his team in a commanding position to go on and win the game, which they ultimately did. Obviously, Curitiba did end the game with 10 men. Maicon got his marching orders but that wasn't till the last moments of the game in injury time at the end of the game. Obviously, vastly experienced Maicon coming from Vasco, didn't he? He played for them as well. 37 years of age, the centre back now. Has a European pedigree as well with Porto in his history as well in his career. So still in one for him, but the game looks like it was already lost for Curitiba. They will be disappointed, Curitiba, with that, because that was the first goals that conceded in 3 games. The first goals that conceded in the month of March. Fernando Seabra has his team playing extremely well, but PR under Odar Hellman have really, taken the bull by the horns and started to, jump up the table. That is 2 wins in a row, back-to-back wins after beating Cruzeiro in midweek. They went on then to beat Curitiba, both home games. So that's really, really important. They have a third home game in a row. Sorry, it isn't Corinthians that play. It is Fogo. They're playing late on Sunday evening here in the UK. So could it be 3-3 for Hellman and his side? They jump up above Curitiba into 6th position. They're now only 6 points off the top. They will be absolutely delighted with that. I think Curitiba will also be very, very happy with their performance so far in their 8 games they have played. So both teams going quite well, but it was PR who won this game, and Viveiros, who sealed it with a lovely, lovely volley to win them their game. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to PR as well on a fantastic win. And obviously Kuzitsky as well, obviously for winning the Kogitsky for winning the Young Player of the Round award as well. So congratulations to them on their win, and Hellman and his boys. So moving swiftly on then to the Player of the Round, and then we will wrap up the sort of managerial situations. Like I said, Roger Mercado was one I missed last week, but there has been a couple more as well, which we will just wrap up towards the end of the episode. But it is time for this.
A bright future ahead for this guy.
Not that one, this one. And it was a case of who else this week as well. There was only one man who was going to win this award. And I mentioned it at the top of the episode. It was Remo who got a massive result. Absolutely slapped Bahia 4-1 in the end. They did go behind in this game, but ended up 4-1 winners. And it is the man by the name of Gabriel Talieri who has won our player of the round this week. He got a brace in this big win for Remo. Still doesn't take them off the out of the relegation zone. They are just 1 point behind Santos, who currently occupy 16th position and safety out of the relegation zone. So 1 point behind them. They'll absolutely take that, although Botafogo also in there have 2 games in hand on them. But this is a massive result. The first win of the season. They did fall behind to an Everaldo header in the first half, but they roared back. The Lions roared back, and Bueno got them a 9th minute injury time at the end of the first half equaliser, and then Arman Taleri came into gear in the 49th minute, got them 2-1 ahead, but the game swung on a penalty miss from who was the man missed the penalty? Juba, the much talk about Juba, who has broken into the national side, hasn't he, of recent times under Carlo Ancelotti. He's been called up. I think he's been called up again, potentially. Don't quote me on that, but I think he might have done. He missed the penalty. It was a really lovely save from Rangel in the Remo goal. The veteran, 37-year-old goalkeeper, got down to his right-hand side and thwarted Juba, saved the penalty, which, if it would have gone in, would have made the game square at 2 apiece. Moments later, Talieri went and scored a lovely finish, little bit of nice little looped assist. Went on then to put Remo even further ahead at 3-1. Assist by Bueno, Muy Bueno from Bueno, had a good game as well. The 31-year-old attacking midfielder. But Taleri put Remo 3-1 up. The gloss was then put on it from Silva in the late on in the game. A 4-1 win. Absolutely massive for Leo Conde, who is now the Remo manager. I completely missed this one as well, but he is now in charge. The former Ceará man, he was sacked by Ceará after relegation from Serie A last season. Very, very tight it was. I think they went down on the final day, didn't they, Ceará last season? Very, very unlucky to get relegated, but he was sacked, and now he's back in management. With Remo, newly promoted Remo, who hadn't obviously started very well, but this is a big, big result, big confidence booster for Leo Conde as well, who is again, like obviously Roger Mercado, vastly experienced, but it has to be said, he is vastly experienced in the lower leagues, especially Serie B. But let's wait and see how he tries his hand, and if he can keep Remo up, it would be an absolutely fabulous achievement. And that is a brilliant, brilliant win for his boys. And only the 4th time I'm asking in terms of games played. There's a fact, in terms of Bahia, long-standing listeners of the pod will know that I'm a big fan of Rogério Ceni. And, they were going very, very well, Bahia, before this, humbling defeat, really. They hadn't lost in any competition at all since mid-February. after they were dumped out of Libertad. Well, they lost the first leg of Libertadores qualification. In fact, they hadn't lost in the league yet this season. I don't believe so. It was very, very, very. It was a magnificent win. Sorry, they have lost this season. I think it was to Fluminense, wasn't it, Bahia? But not since December. So very, very. What a result for Remo. Bahia are a good outfit. Seni have got them playing really, really good football. They've got the City Group investment. They're going places, Bahia. They really, really are. But a defeat which will, frustrate Seni. Like I said, the first defeat in, I think, 8 games in all competitions. So that's quite impressive. They did exit the Libertadores eventually. I think it was on penalties to O'Higgins. But 8 games undefeated before this game, or 7 games undefeated, and then Remo went and beat them on the 8th game of asking. They will go back and lick the wounds, and next week we'll go up against PR, who are in form. Like we said, they might have even notched up a hat-trick of wins by the time they rock up at Bahia to play them next Thursday. We'll wait and see how that game goes on. But congratulations to Taleri and to Remo with their first win of the season. He grabs his Player of the Round award en route to a 4-1 massive win. Well done to them. Well done to Taleri as well on that one. Who else? So enough of that then. And there is, I think, one more managerial position to kind of go up on and or at least a sacking to mention. It's Santos, and it's Mr. Pablo Voivoda, who was given his marching orders and his his P45, if you like, from Santos, who are struggling towards the bottom end of the table, obviously 16th position. They are out the relegation zone, just a point above Fogo in 17th position. Voivoda has been relieved of his duties. I don't think they've appointed anybody yet, but I think Kuka is in the running for that job. So we'll wait and see what happens there. But that is another one to wrap up there. And yeah, like I said, Guinares, who had such a great season last season for Mirasol, they've lost a couple on the bounce. He'll be coming under a little bit of pressure as well. But having said all of that, let's look at next week's fixtures and pick out our game of the week. So there is an outlying fixture on Sunday, the 29th of March. It's PR against Fogo, but like I said, the international break, isn't it? Brazil obviously playing a couple of games, aren't they? And the league resumes on, the league is still going on during this international break. So the league resumes, it's a midweek match day again, which starts on April Fool's Day, the 1st of April. Fogo play Mirasol and Inter host Sao Paulo. Into the 2nd, April the 2nd, and Bahia against PR. Cruzeiro host Vitória. Curitiba against Vasco. Fluminense hosts Corinthians. Chapecoense against Galo. And Santos against Remo. Friday, the 3rd of April, then it sees Palmeiras host Grêmio, and the match day wraps up with RB Bragantino against Fluminense. So looking at that, then looking through trying to pick out my game of the week. There's nothing that really jumps out at me straight off the bat. But you know what? I'm going to go with Curitiba against Vasco, because Vasco, under Renato Gaucho, have really turned the corner. They're now unbeaten in the last 4 league games. So that is a real upturn in form. Gaucho's got them playing well. Curitiba, like I mentioned, under Fernando Seabra, have also, despite the defeat against PR on the weekend, they've started really well over the opening 8 games. So this is going to be a really good game. So I'm going to pick out this one and take a close look at this one. So that'll be a very interesting match. We'll go with that one, but we'll round up the table, as it were, and then we will say our goodbyes. So the table looks like this. In first place is Palmieras on 19 points. Second is Sao Paulo on 16. Third is Flu on 16. Fourth is Flamengo on 14. Fifth, Bahia on 14. Sixth is PR on 13. Seventh is Curitiba, also on 13 points. Eighth is Grêmio on 11. 9 is Vasco on 11. 10 is Vitória on 10. 11th is Corinthians on 10. 12th is Inter on 8. 13th is Galo on 8. 14th is RB Valentino on 8. 15th is Chapecoense on 7. 16th is Santos on 7. 17th is Fogo on 6. 18th is Mirassol on 6. 19th is Remo, also on 6. And bottom of the table, still managerless as I believe, is Cruzeiro, who are having a nightmare of the season. Sorry, they have appointed Arta Jorge, which is a fabulous appointment. Let's wait and see how he gets on in his first game up against Vitória, in form Vitória, a week tomorrow. Let's wait and see. But that's the table. Sorry, there is that big news. Arta Jorge, I've just seen that actually, has been appointed Cruzeiro manager. They really need some help. Bottom of the table, Cruzeiro at the moment. They need Arta Jorge. A bit of Arta Jorge magic. A bit of Arta Jorge Fogo magic from a couple of years ago that won the famous double. They will be hoping for that. But, another big name through the door at Cruzeiro. Always had Tite, didn't really work out. Will Jorge be able to get the best of this, expensively assembled squad? Let's wait and see. But that is it from me for now. We will see you again for another week's time. Obviously, they don't play for this weekend, and then it's another midweek, so it'll probably be another week before I go on with a pod. But enjoy yourselves, enjoy the football, and a deuce. I'll see you on the next one.